if there is a secret to it, it probably will always remain one. It's like the X Factor. You know, when people talk about the X Factor, it's because you can't put your finger on what is it that makes a group of people like somebody, and others can take him or leave him. You know, there's that X Factor, and if you're very lucky, a large group of people can't tell you why they like me or any other artist you can think of. And so I just roll with it and think I'm lucky that there's enough people that have kept me going all these years. But as I say, if it's a secret, it's never going to be unfurled. So but it's been a wonderful time for me, and of course I didn't ever dream my career would last this long. So I'm very grateful to all of you who have supported me. It's been fantastic. Well, I suppose when you think of Europe on the whole, the Shadows and I kicked off, and we got known in almost all the countries in Europe. Then we went further afield, of course, to the Far East and to Australia and New Zealand. The only place that we didn't really make it, we made good press, was in America. And as a soloist, I've never really been able to crack America. But generally speaking, rock and roll, when we first started and we toured, you'd find a big difference between audiences. Because rock and roll was in its infancy. When you went to Japan, for instance, and we always made a joke of it, the Japanese are so polite and they're very gentle people, and they'll go. So sometimes you'd end a song and you'd just hear, and you can't hear people bowing, and we used to think we're dying a death here. But then the more we went back, we found we still had sell-out concerts. But now, when I go back, they've sort of learned that this is what you do. You scream a bit, you shout a bit, you clap a bit, and audiences have kind of leveled out. I think rock and roll has leveled everybody out. Within that rock and roll world, we are like a huge supermarket. People who come to my concerts come because they like me. People go to Elton's concerts because they love him, or George Michael, or Mariah Carey, or Olivia, or whoever. And rock and roll has kind of leveled the playing field for us.
What I thought I'd do is maybe I'd give it 20 years till I catch up with you, torso-wise.
How are you doing, Eamon? And Bruce, how are you?
Good morning, Sir Cliff. I'm very well. It's lovely to talk to you, and it was lovely to see you in the paper.
Well, I can't believe it. Sometimes you do things without even thinking. When I've been doing calendars, Eamon, for a number of years now, and they're a big selling thing, and so the fans seem to enjoy them. Of course, it gets more and more difficult with every year. And this year, Alan Ollie, who took the pictures, said, would you mind taking your shirt off for a picture, maybe coming out of the swimming pool? I said, nah, I don't mind. And I must admit, when I saw the picture, I thought, oh my, it did work off there. It paid off going to the gym.
You look terrific.
About 3 months going every other day. And although I'm, Eamon, I'm never going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but what happens is you tone up a little, and it does photograph well. So yeah. I was very thrilled with it all.
Well, you wouldn't want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and has to
No, that's right. I mean, I have a different position in life, and it's just great to know that you could still do it. It means you've got to commit yourself to some kind of work, even diets, Eamon. You have to commit yourself to losing that weight. And I know that people quote me, and it was true for a period that I only ate one major meal a day. It's not a healthy thing to do, unless, of course, if you're really overweight, you just need to stop eating for a while and lose that weight. And then I always say, get on a fantastic eating regime where you don't put the weight on.
So what do you eat, Sir Cliff? What would be a normal day for you?
About 4.5 years ago, I started doing a diet. So it's more of a lifestyle, and a lifestyle of eating. So I have now a breakfast in the morning. Sometimes it just means I have a couple of pieces of toast, or I have cereals. I don't have wheat and dairy. There are certain things I don't eat anymore, and loads that I do. But by sticking to the rules, I find that I don't put weight on and I don't lose any. But I've already got down to the weight I like to be. So that's what I would recommend to people. If you actually are, for instance, grossly overweight, then there's only one way to start off. I think you've just got to cut down food until you've got down to the shape you like, but then get into eating healthily, and if you can do a bit of exercise, it obviously helps. It helped me anyway.
Well, you are incredibly disciplined, and huge respect to you for that, and you have been for so many years. But
Kate's here. What's that you got there?
Look at this.
Ooh,
Can you
if
see?
I could whistle, I would.
That's Cliff's head on Dan Lobb's body, that is.
Dan Lobb hasn't got that kind of chest hair, I tell you now. Isn't he
Why do you
gorgeous?
don't care?
He's 70 years old today.
Yeah.
How do I
He's
know?
amazing.
I know, I'll tell you later. He's amazing, he's absolutely amazing. So happy birthday. And when he's not making records in the UK, he's making wine in Portugal. And I went out to his vineyard. Have a look. Ah, Sir Cliff Richard.
Hey,
Hello. I'm very well.
welcome to the winery.
It's fun. It's not a bad gaff.
Fantastic. You want to look around?
I'd love to look around. Let's have a look around.
Fantastic.
These grapes are your very own grapes for your
Yep.
wine. Now, is this the secret of you looking so young? Is it all in the grape? Is it all in the wine?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've always been a lover of wine, and I think taken carefully and had with meals, it's a good, it's a helps the digestive system. So there's something valuable about wine. I think the trouble is we tend to overdo things. Most of us. There's a human trait, isn't there? That if you like a glass, you then have 2 or 3, 4, then suddenly you know that you're sitting down a lot or falling over.
Or falling over in
Yeah.
your case, as you said.
Yeah.
So you've got the place in Barbados,
Yep.
place in London, and of course here in Portugal. Where's home these days for you then?
Oh, well, I feel a bit like Paul Young, who had that song, Anyway I Lay My Hat at Home.
You lent it out of it though. You lent it out to Tony Blair, didn't
Oh,
you?
yeah, but I didn't ask rent. I don't ask my friends come, but I don't charge them rent. Why should I? No, they had it. Actually, Tony said it was the best holiday he'd ever had.
Would you lend it to the new Prime Minister, David Cameron, as well?
Well, if I got to know him.
So nobody chomps on grapes with their feet anymore? But
No.
You're not going to have a bottle with a Cliff.
No, but there's a tank up there. They got me down one morning with the socks off and the shoes. So there will be some that I have
There
trodden
will
on.
be a bottle out there
Somewhere.
that has Sir Cliff's
Yes.
feet.
And the funny
Lashing
thing
it.
is, for about 3 or 4 days, it looked like I had purple socks.
So what have we got here?
This is our new baby, really. We decided to make a sparkling. Well, we can't call it champagne because it's not made in Champagne, but it's made over here. And we wanted for my 50th anniversary year to have something that went...
Is there anybody out there at the moment that you think, well, they might not be typical Sir Cliff, but you think, love to work with him or her?
Well, there's loads of people. Whenever I hear records, if I hear something that I really like, there's something in the pipeline that I can't really talk about too much because it's not even
Oh,
good.
go on.
No, well, I am going to do an album, hopefully, with a lot of famous sort of soul singers. My Boulders Brass album, which is going to be out on DVD, is my attempt at the jazz world. And I was, as I said earlier, I was really worried about whether I'd be able to do this. But I thought, I'm a singer. I'll just sing it my way.
And I just wanna make love to you.
What about rap?
Oh, no, I don't think I'll bother about rap. You
You
know,
don't
rap
think-
to me, well, I think rap's a bit of a cop-out, you know, because it's just like talking, isn't it? And I know about rhythm, so if I got a poem or something that was written out, you could speak in a rhythm that went like this, and if you talk... So, yes to the rappers, but it's not for me. I won't. I'll leave
You're
that
not
for
going to be
them.
getting down anytime too soon.
No. Well, you know, I get down to work and I get down to the studio, man. And I get down to my songs, I like that.
Getting down with Sir
gets down
Cliff.
with the
He gets
songs.
down. Hey, look, this is his champagne. His name is on here, but I'm not sure if you'll ever spot it. Shall I give you a clue? It's sold in supermarkets, by the way.
Is
if you want
that
that.
is
Yes!
one there?
It's all in the scribble. Wow, you're good, aren't you?
Well, it's not
Good
that
eye.
flipping difficult, is it? I mean, there's,
I can
there's a
find
scribbled
it.
signature on there.
Okay,
I know
all
I look
right.
stupid, I'm not that daft.
Later on, we're talking to him about his music and his personal life and all that kind of thing. It's not just all about the drink.
Although that looked good, sipping away there in Portugal, didn't it?
Very nice.
It's a bit more. Could you
Very
chill
nice.
that for me, please?
Thank
It's
you.
not
I'll be
quite
back
right.
later.
Okay, it's a special day for a special man, isn't
Oh,
it, Kate?
yes, this man here, look at that. Beautiful. This is the official Sir Cliff Richard calendar. This is the October, his birthday month. Happy birthday, Cliff. 70 today. Taking his top off just for the moment to celebrate. And I went out to Portugal, to his vineyard there, to chat to him about 5 decades of hits.
Come on, pretty baby, let's move it.
With more than 50 years in the business and hits in every decade, Sir Cliff's showing no signs of slowing down as he hits the big 7-0. He invited me to his vineyard in Portugal and filled me in on his birthday plans.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday. Esther Ranson said she was going to celebrate 70 by running around the garden naked. How about that? You've got loads of space.
I've been there, done that.
Have you? Oh, OK.
Now, I'm not quite sure I've got the desire to run around naked anyway, actually. But for the 70th, even when it comes to a birthday party, I'm not going to have a big party on the day. I said I'm going to have a quiet night, and what I'm going to do is I've got one of my sisters who lives quite close is going to come over with my niece, my nephew, and another niece, and a baby, and a husband, and we're going to have an Indian curry.
Looking around here, this wonderful setting in Portugal, in your vineyard, was it that sort of success that drove you? I mean, there you were, 6 in a room, your family at one point, and suddenly you have the chance to have a different sort of life. Was it that where the ambition came from? Was it money, essentially?
I think it was music. The music was so exciting. All we ever wanted to do. I did it at school. Once Elvis came out, and all the people that followed, the Little Richards, the Buddy Hollies, the Everly Brothers, we'd sing all of that all the time. So that was in our bones, because rock and roll came and took the world by the throat and changed everything.
So you're so successful in the 60s, but you didn't go down the sex, drugs and rock and roll route. How did you not do that?
I can only put it down to one thing, and that was we were a very tight family unit. And I try to say in my book that I still find myself thinking, oh, my mum wouldn't like that. Wouldn't want me to say or do that. And I'm thinking, I'm 70.
Despite his chart success, in recent years, some radio stations have banned Cliff's music, much to his annoyance. So I had to ask, what else makes Mild-Mannered Cliff kick off?
Oh, well, I kick off a lot, really. I mean, over the years, I think, on the whole, the press have been relatively okay with me. But sometimes they get a bee in their bonnet, and they don't just want to attack me, they want to attack my friends, they want to talk about what's happening to other people around me, and I really get really shirty about that. And the other thing that really gets me is that usually there is a hint of truth in the story, but the rest of it seems to be made up. And that's what gets me annoyed.
Now, one of the questions that you always get asked about, which I'm sure does drive you mad, is why no family?
Yeah,
you've said that you don't like to be alone, and we don't like to think of you alone. So
I've never been alone.
Never been alone?
Never in my life have I ever been alone. I've always shared a house with somebody. I have loads of friends. I've never honestly felt lonely. And as to, in terms of children, you know, not everybody has children.
You'd have been a great dad, though.
I'm not sure. When I am with friends who've got kids, I say, oh, thank you, Lord, I don't have to do this.
So what would the 70-year-old Sir Cliff say to the 17-year-old Harry Webb if you met him now?
Well, no, I'd say do everything exactly as I've done it. I am a very fortunate man, and I'm happy. So if I could pass that on to the 17-year-old Cliff and say, listen, you're going to be doing things. You might regret them immediately, but you won't in long term, because you're going to learn from them, and that's the way it is.
So you have no regrets?
No, I don't have any regrets.
That's a lucky man to say that.
Yeah, I am lucky.
And Cliff's Bold as Brass DVDs, like the 22nd of November.
Lovely man.
And you can watch the first part of that interview on the web.
Let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Our hearts are made for it. Let's take a chance. Why be afraid of it? So let's close our eyes and make our own paradise. Little we know of it, still we can try to make a go of it. We might have been meant for each other, to be or not to be. Let our hearts discover. Let's fall in love. Why shouldn't we fall in love? Now is the time for it while we are young. Let's fall in love. The way you wear your hat, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that. No, they can't take that away from me. The way your smile just beams, the way you sing off key, the way you haunt my dreams. No, they can't take that away from me. be no slave. I don't want you to work all day, but I want you to be true, and I just wanna make love to you, love to you.